Hello everyone, I'm Andrew. I'm back to continue reading from my book Beyond Recovery. Intended to share my personal experience with what I did after I recovered from alcoholism, practicing alcoholic. I think I'm 10 years sober now. And this book was written in 2017, so without further intro, this is chapter 6, Freeing My Mind. I think in this chapter I'm going to introduce mental faculties and what they mean. It's a long chapter, so I'm gonna go about halfway through it and then come back tomorrow and finish it up. All right, in this chapter, I will elaborate on some interesting things to think about when freeing your mind of old programming. I personally believe this is the final step of recovery and the first step of rebuilding or redefining, recreating. Thoughts become things. Accept this. Test this. Become as aware of this fact as possible. You are now, and you will become what you think about. What you think about constantly will become a reality. It's not magic. It's a divine law that was put in place long ago. Thought waves are energy. They are as real as sound waves. Not many people are making a persistent effort to choose what to think about on a momentarily basis. Some people are raised to believe that they will be successful. They will be successful because they have no problem choosing thoughts of abundance and success. They will be successful at running a restaurant, running a marathon, selling drugs, making friends. It doesn't matter. Or anything they try to do and become emotionally attached to the results. It doesn't matter what they go into. They'll believe they'll be successful at it. So they are. Consecutive thoughts of success and prosperity lead to this. Nothing more, nothing less. These people constantly think thoughts like, I'm successful, I'm prosperous, I'm a winner. Maybe their parents told them that, I'm not sure. That's the thoughts they think though. Even when they're asleep, this program practice of regiment of thoughts are on repeat. Should they suffer defeat, failure, or setback, or resistance, it is not looked upon with condemnation. It is looked upon as a correction and recalculation that needs to occur. They just recalculate and try again, or wipe the idea board clean and start again. These people are so habitually successful, their very being doesn't accept failure on any level. It's powerful. The law of opposition states that these people in their paradigm have the exact opposite. People that accept failure at the first sign of difficulty because they are living on a thought diet of, I am a failure, I'm poor, I am not capable. If you are like me, you may find yourself in this category. The good news is you can change it. I was raised to believe in mediocrity, lack, scarcity, failure, and defeat. It's just my personal experience. It's not that someone intended to do that to me. Giving thanks and praise to my God of almost enough, as opposed to God's true form of abundance and generosity. Science tells us that your mind cannot tell the difference between giving and receiving. If you give $1,000 to charity or a cause you believe in, the same brain activity and chemicals take place as if you receive $1,000 from someone that believes in you. The point is to strengthen your faith in divine law every time you give or receive. You are actually just becoming a part of generosity and prosperity by giving or receiving. In the giving, you become part of these ineffable qualities. Give often, knowing that receiving is the result and the universe's response to giving. Gratefully, joyfully, cheerfully, do both giving and receiving. One interesting technique is to consider everything you have ever been told to believe to be true may not be true at all. This can be troubling for the average individual. It was for me as a Christian. But I came full circle and found my beliefs to be stronger and have more, a deeper conviction behind what I believe. I feel I should admit to some of these ideas I entertain to widen my perspective and strengthen my beliefs. Now, here it is. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm sure I'm about to lay it out. These are some of the ideas that I entertained once I realized I wasn't taught correctly about prosperity or abundance. I questioned everything: Christianity, schooling. I questioned it all. Okay, I entertained the idea that God was the equivalent to energy. Cannot be created or destroyed, is always present in the same place at the same time, in equal amount. I entertained the idea that Jesus was just a man. Maybe he was just a man, a teacher, and Christians have blown this up out of proportion. I entertained the idea that humans might have been genetically modified by some other intelligent beings in the past. This led me to all kinds of conclusions and deeper convictions about what I believe. This can give you more confidence. Love exists, and I can give it or receive it. Love is synonymous with God in my particular personal belief. Jesus was enlightened. He taught many people about an alternate lifestyle centered around love. Again, this is my personal belief. It's okay for us to disagree about it and still coexist and even share love between one another. If we are an experiment, the laws Jesus taught about while he was here on this planet are still valid and may have come from supernatural intelligence. Also, the supernatural beings that were performing the experiment were created by the same God and created humanity if we've been modified. So somewhere along the line, a creator had to create. So it didn't trouble me about extraterrestrials. I was like, well, they were created by the same God we were. And they would consider us extraterrestrials. This is how lots of crazy ideas can still fit into your Christian beliefs. In other words, you don't have to know all the answers to still serve and worship. And I have searched Scripture, and it says nothing about the Almighty Creator only creating one planet conducive to life. Nowhere in the Bible does it say God created Earth, and Earth was the only place where life could exist. It doesn't say he created Earth and man, and then he stopped creating and decided one planet and one being is enough. Also, I entertain the idea of Mary being visited by heavenly beings that descended upon earth from the heavens with fire and bright lights before Immaculate Conception. From this description, it sounds very similar to encounters with extraterrestrials. Lights coming from the sky, artificial insemination. Well, the truth is, I have no idea and no way of knowing. I do believe in the teachings of Jesus in the Bible, so I'll start there. So no matter what, no matter how they came about, they have been extremely helpful and wonderful to me, the teachings. This challenge of my beliefs, which I inherited, so I challenged the beliefs that I've been handed down, really strengthened me as a spiritual being. I gained wisdom. I entertained new ideas in all areas of my life at this point. New ideas in music, earning money, our solar system, and anything else I loved or was remotely interested in. I did this in effort to gain a different perspective and a deeper understanding and conviction of what I believe, and become comfortable with myself and my beliefs enough to respect other people and their beliefs. I am now becoming more and more aware that beliefs play a huge role in creating my self-image. You become what you think about. A belief is an idea you've repeated until you've accepted as truth. Hang on. A belief is just an idea that you've repeated until you've accepted it to be truth. That's a belief. I believe in this. Well, a belief is just an idea you've repeated over and over again until you've accepted it. There's not enough money in the world. Life is hard and then you die. It's not true. It's not true. Just because you believe it does not make it truth. I'm now becoming more and more aware that beliefs play a huge role in creating my self-image in many particular circumstances and situations. What happened here? I simply strengthened my mental faculties, the ability to reasoning, imagination, perspective, by exercising them on purpose. My memory and intuition were the next two mental faculties I intended to purposely exercise. I began to search my mind during prayer and meditation for significant things. I could recall my father's house number when I was young, 662-843-2968. That number has not been my father's for over 18 years. I could recall my grandparents' number in Indianola, 887-3511. I would attempt to look at GPS 2 or 3 times and then remember how to get where I was going, even if it was the first time I'd ever been. So I would look something up on the map, I would commit it to memory 2 or 3 times, and then I would attempt to get there without using the GPS. I would purposely try to remember names of new people I met. I would also try to remember names of old childhood friends. I would look at my grocery list and read it several times before entering and then try not to have to get it out in the store. Challenging my memory until I had all the items in the basket. I have written hundreds of songs. I have hundreds of covers committed to memory and I can perform them at any time. I began to learn new songs. These mental faculties built my confidence in my mind and its ability to retain information as well as execute commands. Being able to play guitar or piano while keeping time with my feet and singing words at the same time is pretty awesome. The ability to do it for 4 to 5 hours without repeating yourself is a challenge. My mind, just like your mind, is extremely powerful. Do not limit it by your preconceived notions of what it is capable of. It is a vast, highly effective central processing unit. When you exercise or challenge it or use it on purpose at all, it will begin to increase in intelligence and capacity. Intuition was the next on my list of mental faculties to locate in my life, define, and exercise on purpose. Lucky for me, as a salesman and a professional performer, I was already well aware of my intuition. I began to acknowledge where I'd used it and use it in more areas where I wasn't using it. I had used it before at poker tables, on stage, even more in client relations and for my entertainment, publishing business, and my painting business. Intuition, the ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. Synonyms: instinct, clairvoyance, sixth sense. Mentally, I begin to contemplate these things on a higher level. Is this client going to be one that I do business with for 5 years to come? I ask my intuition this, not based on facts or in my intuition. And here, can I trust this client to work outside my normal client financial agreements? I used my intuition. Tournament poker is a sure means to sharpen your intuition. Tournament is everyone enters with the same amount, and you battle your wits with mathematics until the last man standing. You have to read people. You must constantly contemplate your opponents and their every move based on a limited amount of actions and tiny bit of mathematical representation. All the time, constantly looking for patterns. In order to win a tournament, which is similar to chess but on a higher level of mathematics and probability. You must successfully use your will, perception. You must successfully use your will, perception, memory, reason, intuition, and imagination, paired with scientific and mathematical skills, weighing odds and patterns constantly. Okay, my will. My will was also in need of a good workout. Your will is another one of your mental faculties. I began to become more aware that my willpower was the faculty that got things done. Unfortunately for humanity, the ability to hold a thought for an extended amount of time is a rare thing now. So the ability to hold a thought for more than a few minutes could be considered a supernatural power in the future. During the recording and production phase of studio quality music to publish, I have learned that you must hold a thought with coherency for months, sometimes years. I applied my will in many areas to be a good father, producing more music, running a successful business, writing a book, write, and then I'd have a bad day and things would happen, and then I'd write, and then I lost my notebook for a day, and then I'd get it, and then I'd write, and then I got busy at work, and then I'd write. Became unsure about what to write about for a day or two, and then I'd write, and then I had to go out of town for a day, and then I'd come back, and I'd write. Eventually, I will have completed my writing. It is okay to have mistakes and interruptions. Always go back to the mission. Always go back to writing. Always go back to the dream or goal and work thereof and the work pertaining to it. This ruling mental state of complete the goal is how many wonderful things have already come into existence. In fact, several days of not knowing what direction to proceed with my writing, I spoke with a friend that is starting out on a path of enlightenment and success, and our conversation inspired me to provide these helpful hints when you are 12 to 18 months in recovery. Okay, I'm gonna come back and start there. It's another 6 pages. I start listing out these helpful hints after 12 to 18 months in recovery. Well, I hope you're enjoying this. This is certainly interesting. Some stuff I'd forgotten about. I did that stuff. I entertained those ideas, and I let my mind go wild and considered everything that I had been taught. It wasn't valid unless I researched it and came to a conviction that it was true. Because many things you're passed down or handed down, and bless our parents and our grandparents and so on and so forth, a lot of times they're going to just tell us what they've been taught, not what they've learned from experience. And that's human. That's Bob Proctor says, what you don't fix, your kids will inherit. Being mindful of this stuff and using my mental faculties on purpose has changed my life. It really has. So I would advise anyone to memorize and then realize where you're using them, and then realize how to exercise them, and then begin to use them more. And your mental faculties are RPM, reason, perspective, memory, and WII, your willpower, your intuition, and your imagination. Discover them. You're already using them. Pinpoint where you are, and then use them on purpose in other areas. They will serve you. Thoughts become things. We are now and will become what we think about. All right, have a good one. I'll be back tomorrow with the rest of chapter 6 of Beyond Recovery. Thanks for tuning in.